Deaths from starvation in the Syrian town of Madaya are rising, even after 2 emergency food aid deliveries last week. At least 5 more people have died in the past 9 days, and aid workers fear there'll be many more. Anne Barker reports.
The emergency food aid delivered to Madaya and 2 other Syrian towns last week has come too late for those already on the brink of death. The United Nations says at least 5 people have died of acute malnutrition since then, and for those in the most desperate state, eating too quickly or too much can make their condition worse. And the aid agency Médecins Sans Frontières says food alone isn't enough to save those in the worst condition. Its Australian head is Paul McPhun.
Obviously, there are a lot of patients who are in an incredibly severe malnourished condition. So their condition isn't suddenly going to change overnight. It's also quite complicated to treat patients when they're literally that sick or that ill. So we're clearly still seeing patients who have suffered from starvation for so long that they're simply unable to recover or haven't received the kind of comprehensive treatment that's required.
At least 35 people, more than 1 a day, have now died of starvation in Madaya this month. Médecins Sans Frontières says another 18 are critically ill and desperately need hospital care. But only 10 people were allowed to be evacuated from Madaya last week, and Paul McPhun is pleading with the Syrian government to allow more evacuations before it's too late.
Well, it's unclear for us what the blockage is. I mean, practically speaking, medical evacuation happens all the time. It's very straightforward, and it happens during conflicts, and we medically evacuate people, as do others all over the world in some of the most intense conflict situations. Here, if you can get aid in, there's absolutely no reason why you cannot evacuate patients out. It clearly just simply requires a political agreement, political will, and then a mechanism to do it.
How many more people are at risk of dying in the next few days, do you think, in Madaya?
That's impossible to say, and that's another huge concern that we have. Are we seeing the tip of the iceberg? I mean, we simply don't know. And more people will certainly die if they cannot be removed and given appropriate treatment elsewhere.
Exacerbating the situation is the extortionate price of foods that have been in critically short supply. In the days before the emergency aid convoys arrived, a kilo of rice, wheat or sugar sold for more than $200, according to a UN report. And even after the aid convoy's arrival, there's only enough food in Madaya for a month. Paul McPhun says it's imperative that more aid is allowed in.
I'm insisting that there absolutely has to be. I'm optimistic that this convoy got through, therefore proving that there's no reason why there shouldn't and couldn't be a sustained relief effort into not just this besieged town, but all of the besieged towns in Syria, all of those affected populations that are being besieged in this way. So, along with a call for lifting siege tactics as a tactic of warfare, clearly sustained delivery of relief supplies is absolute priority.
The UN is brokering peace talks in Syria that were due to take place next week in New York, but it says it's now looking increasingly likely the talks will be delayed.
Anne Barker.